But that is someday for England, for Joe Root. And this had to show some sort of response after going down 1-0 at Lords. At the end of day one, it's 120 without loss. And if you were told before this test match that one team would be blown out for 78 and the other team's openers would see them through the stumps with 120 on the scoreboard, you would have probably gone the other way around with the teams. But it has been England's day entirely. Ian Bell will look back at it. So too Maninder Singh on ESPN Cricket for Match Day. Wow, Belly, that's what's that? Would you call that beyond perfect, if you have to call it?
As an English fan, that's an amazing day, to be honest with you. So I don't think any of us expected that today. Credit to the bowlers. I thought again, absolutely exceptional. And then, but the more pleasing thing, I think, from an England point of view, was the opening partnership, the batting. We talked a lot about trying to put pressure back on the bowlers. I thought Hamid in particular got his cut shot away. His defensive game was good. So an amazing day for England. I don't think Joe Root as well would have seen that coming today. So an absolutely brilliant day for England.
Yeah, and conversely, Money, that is as bad a day as India could have imagined. With all that momentum from the second test, just fizzes out in one day's play.
It's been a shocker to me, to be very honest, because some team that has won the second test match in the first test match, if, it wasn't for the rain, they would have won that test match as well. And then, coming in the third test match, you win the toss, you bat first, and you're 78 all out, goes to show that you've gone complacent somewhere down the line. The concentration levels that were so high in the first two test matches, they've just gone down the drain, and that's exactly what's happened to the Indian team. But all the credit to the English side. I think they've come back brilliantly, and this is what is expected at international level when you're playing in your home conditions. People do expect you to come back, but the way the English team has come back, I think a little bit of hand of the Indian team as well, the way they played it.
Yeah, we're all, a lot of us share this opinion that the last day washout at Trent Bridge deprived India of a win. There are days like this and you start thinking, are we really that sure? They needed 150 to win with 9 wickets in hand. You never know. But anyway, that's all moot. Let's look back at the last session. Money first up. We thought if India picked up a few wickets and maybe England end the day 80 for 4 or 80 for 5, then you'd think, all right, great. Both sets of bowlers have exploited conditions. But that just seemed far too easy for England towards the end of the day. Now, can you explain why India's bowlers didn't look as threatening?
See, when there's only 78 runs on the board, it's not very easy for the bowlers also to apply themselves to, their concentration level is not all that high because, if you're asking me, if I was a bowler of a side whose side has got out for 78, I would have lost hope. How do you get an international side out for, say 100 or 120 on a pitch like this? Which has totally dried out now because I'm sure there was a bit of a moisture, and then with the sunshine, it all dried out. But somewhere down the line, the bowlers didn't bowl very well as well. This was the captain's duty actually to tell his bowlers that we've made a mess. You can make amends, but the only way to make amends is bowl good line and length. But I couldn't see any of the Indian bowlers actually bowling good line and length. They were bowling up and down. So I think the morale is pretty low at the minute. And I think when a team gets out for 78, sometimes you get this feeling that how from here are we going to win this test match?
Yeah, it seems harsh to be questioning the bowlers on a day where the batters have been pulled out for 78, Belly. That having been said, though, could India's bowlers have bowled any better in that last session?
Yes, I think by watching it, I think the way you judge, I think there, I was trying to think how many cut balls or pull balls England bowled. They erred, I think at Headingley, if you're going to err on one side, err fuller. And I think that actually they earned a little bit short. So I can visibly remember Hamid, a lot of cut shots. Burns, again, can play square of the wicket. They didn't ask them to hit down the ground enough. Even a half volley is better than a cut ball on that kind of, on the ground at Headingley. So, yeah, a bit of that, but as you said, I mean, it certainly lies more on the batting side. But I think what it shows as well at Headingley is that, winning the toss is one thing, but it's going to be hard work until after tea, where the pitch dries out. There was much more runs on offer, and it'll be the same again tomorrow. So credit to England for playing really well today. And if India were to learn, I think with the ball, it was just they bowled a little bit too short on a pitch at Headingley.
Hasib Hamid looks the part, Belly, in his preferred opening position.
He looks better than he did at 3 last week, that is for sure. So, look, that's really pleasing. He had a fantastic tour to India, didn't he, as a young player 5 years ago. And somebody looks full of promise and, could bat a long period of time. Struggled, had to leave Lancashire, go to another club in Nottinghamshire to come back. So it's a nice story. It is nice to see a young player have to figure things out and come back. But there's no doubt today, I thought he looked defensively, and also, from an English point of view, he did put pressure back on the Indian ball. As soon as they missed their length, he put that away for four, which is what you want to do at this level. So really pleasing. Look, I think as an English fan and an English, it's one day. You can't get carried away, but I think it's a brilliant day, a step in the front. I think you said it perfectly. All that momentum India had has gone in one day, and England have done well. They've just got to back it up again tomorrow, and that's what Test cricket's all about.
And you think, Mani, that when we're discussing this as a one-team side, when it comes to their batting in Joe Root, suddenly 120 on the board even before Roots had to come out there. England have a chance to literally put this game beyond India on day 2 tomorrow. Are we expecting that to happen as things looked easier to bat on, or could things change on day 2?
Well, if the sun is going to be out, it's going to be very difficult for the Indian bowlers, and it's going to be very difficult for the Indian captain actually to have attacking fields as well, because. But I think that's the only way out. Get wickets. I mean, get them out. Get your lines and lengths right, because that's the only way to come back is if you get England out by tea tomorrow. But the way the Indian bowlers have bowled today, I'm sure there's going to be a team meeting. They're going to do their homework and come back a different team tomorrow, because we've seen this Indian team, whenever their backs are against the wall, they come back and strike hard.
I'm just trying to think of what that Indian dressing room will be like, Mani, right now, because is it just us that go through the highs and lows of emotions when we say, oh my God, what a great win at Lords, and suddenly one day of Headingley and we're having a completely different conversation around the Indian team? Would they be leveled
I
around
think
this, or would it be a tough
I
dressing
think
room to talk to right now?
I think Ravi Shastri is a tough taskmaster, and these boys are going to have it from him, because after winning the second Test match, the confidence level should have been somewhere else, but it's been somewhere else. I think somewhere down the line, Ravi Shastri would be there, would be blaming himself as well, because winning the toss and batting first is not only the captain's decision. It's the basically coach, the team. They all sit together before the Test match starts, and they decide what are we going to do after winning the toss. So I think he must be kicking himself as well, because he's played on that ground. He's played a lot of county cricket. I'm talking about Ravi Shastri, and he's made a blunder by winning the toss and batting first.
Okay, that's interesting. Mani says it's a blunder. Belly, you said it, T, that you still think it was perhaps the right thing to do, even though it was brave at the end of the day's play. Are you going to sort of reassess your opinion?
Yeah, I think Test cricket it's a tough decision to win the toss and bowl. England tried to do it at Lords, it didn't work either. India bats really well, so I think, like I said, I think trying to explain it, I think it's a good toss to lose, because there's a totally different pressure bowling first when you haven't made that choice. Having been in the same England dressing room, we talk about a lot of you generally running to do, but it is that one ground. I know we talked about Stuart Broad putting a social media post out, because it is that kind of thing. But again, for the long run, if you get the day one right with the bat, you set up the Test match brilliantly. But there is an argument. We could all sit here in hindsight and say bowl first. But I think, for me, England would have been actually really happy. Joe Root would have been happy not to have had to make the choice if he'd won the toss, because I think. But saying that again, I go to domestic cricket. Yorkshire are a good side. They will win the toss and bat. Most often than not when you go there, but again, you have to bat well, and that's the big thing.
Yeah, and that's what I'll come back to, Mani, on the same thing you said earlier, that batting first, okay, but not batting like that. So what's the bigger feeling at the end of the day, that blunder on deciding to bat first, or okay, maybe understandable to bat first, but you should have batted better?
No, it's understandable to bat first, but they should have batted better. I think they did look a little complacent trying to play strokes, as I said earlier. Also, these are not the kind of pitches where you just go out there, and these are not Indian pitches that you put your foot forward and start driving the ball. And it was just Anderson that you have to look through, and otherwise, I don't think the other bowlers were that potent. But it's only that Anderson got those first 3 wickets. After that, the other English bowlers started looking potent as well. But I think hats off to Anderson. He gave that start to the English side that they needed. And as Belly keeps saying, Joe Root must be thinking, what a great toss to lose. Because if he had made up his mind that he's going to bat first after winning the toss this time around, because they lost the Test match, the second Test match. And if that would have happened, and England had got out for 100 odd, it would have been a blunder for him as well. So he must be actually enjoying a drink at the minute.
Yeah, that's one thing he'd be thankful for, is losing the toss. The other would be that James Anderson hasn't decided yet to call it time on this illustrious career. Do you ever think of one bowler making such an impact on a test match and maybe even a series over 8 overs? That's all that Anderson had to bowl. He didn't have to be called back. But if he's going to bowl 8 overs like that, he could go on till he's 45, buddy.
Yeah, he can. I mean, like you said, he sets the tone. Manny said it there, and that's the thing. I mean, the rest of the England bowlers are young. They're not, you would say, as feared in world cricket. So Jimmy Anderson's setting the tone, especially without Stuart Broad there. Setting the tone, getting the 3 big wickets up front, and then the other guys followed. I don't quite know what an England Test side would look like without Jimmy Anderson. We will find out at some point. Maybe hopefully in 10 years' time when he's past 50 or whatever like that will be the nice thing. But what it looks like, I can only think it's going to be very similar to when Warne and McGrath finished with Australia. It's not that people come in aren't good. It's just they're not as good as that guy. He is an absolute genius in these conditions. He is the best we've ever seen. Like I said, bowling in English conditions. And actually, the pleasing thing for Jimmy as a friend is he's proven a lot of people wrong away from home as well, which makes him a world-class bowler.
Yep, absolutely. Well, it's Jimmy Anderson's day. 8 overs that have essentially changed the course of this series, and we'll see how that shapes this test match on day 2. Maninder Singh, thank you very much. So to Ian Bell. More from you on day 2 on ESPN Cricket for Match. Do join us at lunchtime to see where this game stands. Both Rory Burns and Hasib Hamid have given England just the perfect start, but this this topsy-turvy test series has already seen enough ebbing and flowing. So we'll see if India can bounce back tomorrow morning. Join us at lunch on day 2. Bye-bye.